1 hour session. Because the schedule
okay, I have another workshop to join, but I can stay 10 minutes at least.
Okay, that would be good.
Past
So
10 o'clock.
Rafi, yes, Rafi is also an excellent student, and I actually told him that there is an opportunity in Glasgow, but he has to prove himself whether he deserves, to get some scholarship. And I told him to write a top journal. Not sure if he still would like to continue. Maybe you can even invite Professor Imran to be your co-advisor if he accept your invitation. I don't know.
Yes, Professor. Thank you. Yes, Professor Imran, I'd like to invite you to our journal or paper. Yes, I'm writing currently with Ajahn, and yes.
Yeah, so very happy to discuss that after maybe over the emails. If the topic is matching, then definitely I will be interested in.
He is working on machine learning technique to solve the PAPR problem in the OFDM. So
that sounds interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And, Rafi, you can have my email from Professor Zanchakon, and then drop me an email. We discuss from there. Keep him copied in the email as well.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sure, I will contact you soon, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And I think there are other people. Shall we go quickly to introduce?
No, that's fine. If you have anything else to discuss, that's okay. People are joining because we have changed the link, so that's okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure who are attending right now. Are they from your side or are they from my side?
I can see a few of my team members as well. Yes.
Yes. So shall we have a quick introduction then? So I get to know your team.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Should we start then? Let me start with myself. I'm Mohammed Imran. I will introduce myself in presentation as well. So let me pass it on to Yusuf. I can see him next to me.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those in Glasgow. I'm Yusuf Sambo, a lecturer in communication systems, working in the communication sensing and imaging research group.
I can also see Kamar, but I'm not sure if he's on mute or ready to speak, to introduce.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kamar Abbasi, Senior Lecturer and Deputy Head for Communication Sensing and Imaging Group.
And you can see Mini Kamar at the back as well. And then next is Lina. Lina, if you're ready to introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lina Mahshazi, a lecturer in wireless communications at the University of Glasgow.
Yeah, Lina, your mic maybe is not very close to you, very low volume. So Lina is a lecturer at University of Glasgow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Imran.
Okay, next is Aisha Noor.
Good afternoon. I'm a PhD student in University of Glasgow, working on a handover in 5G. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Jiki, you?
Yes, Professor Mohammed. I'm the PhD student in the Glasgow and studying the electronic engineering.
Okay.
Yes, there's Yu Chen.
Yu Chen, yes, Yu Chen.
Hello, everyone. I'm a PhD student at the University of Glasgow.
Okay, and
I think there is a doctor as well. I'm not sure who is that, but
Sohaib, yeah.
Okay, maybe I can introduce from our side.
Yes, okay.
Okay. May I introduce Professor Panuwat? Are you there? No. Professor Pasu. Professor Pasu. อาจารย์พระสุอยู่ไหมครับไม่อยู่นะอาจารย์พระสุอ๋ออาจารย์สุวิทย์ Can I
Hello.
introduce Dr. Sweet?
Yes. I'm Suvit Kiraviteya. Now I'm a new member of the Department of EE at Chulalongkorn University. Now I'm a colleague of Professor Lanchakon. I might join your collaboration if there is a topic that overlaps with my research. Okay.
Yeah. Professor Sweet was with Max Planck in Germany for how many years?
6 years, but 8-9 years in Germany.
Yes.
Okay.
So he led a research group on something. Can you tell the title of your laboratory?
No. Actually, I'm work with the hardware, some nano microstructure. I fabricate the semiconductor material and devices.
Yeah.
My colleague Dr. Kamar Abbasi also works in James Watt Nano Fabrication Center.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Nice to meet you. Okay. I think Ajahn Lanchakon can continue with other.
Yeah. I can see Dr. Pasu. Are you there? Oh, probably not. Dr. Sweet. Dr. Sweet, can you introduce yourself? Another Sweet. Sorry, another Sweet. Sweet from maybe he's on the car. Okay. So you have to turn the microphone on.
Hello, Professor. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's.
เสียงเบา
เบาเหรอครับเบาแค่ไหนครับอาจารย์ฮัลโหลได้ยินไหมครับ
Hello, Dr. Lanchakon.
Okay, Dr. Pasu is with me now.
Yes. I'm very glad to have a special lecture from. I think it is the most advanced advisors or the professor in the field of 5G from Glasgow. It's nice to meet you all and nice to thank professors from Glasgow. Should your name Professor Ilan or Mohammed?
Mohammed is fine with me.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is I'm very glad to know you here. It's his first time, and I believe that these lectures can give the benefit not just only for students and or anyone who are interested in 5G technology. We are going to develop our country to be the Thailand 4.0. This is the policies of government, and 5G is just something is the important technology or the essential one that is can let the Thailand 4.0 to be realized. So it is the very best. Is the good opportunity to have your lecture today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Sweet, can you another Sweet? Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Okay. Nice to meet you, Professor from Glasgow. I'm Sweet Phumritikul from Pathumwan Institute of Technology. Now I'm the colleague with Professor Lanchakon about many projects such as IoT, 5G, and also have the AI project. Yeah. So I think today we glad to join this one for improve the knowledge about the 5G to improve the any use case in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Perhaps Dr. Sanika, can you introduce yourself? Are you not there? Okay. Dr. Amir, are you there?
Yes, Professor. How are you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. I know Amir very well. So.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Yes, hello, everyone. Hello, Professor Imran, and hello, other colleagues. My name is Amir. I'm a postdoctoral researcher that work in Chulalongkorn University under the supervision of Professor Don Chakorn. So it's nice to meet you, everyone. It's nice to meet you, Professor Imran. Yes, it's my great honor that I already have some collaboration with you, Professor. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kampon, perhaps the last person.
Yes. Hello, Professor Imran and everyone. I am with the Department of Computer Engineering, Chiang Mai University. I am Professor Lanchakorn's alumnus, and my area of research is wireless communication, especially physical secrecy, mass optimization. Yep.
Yeah, he was with Professor Morwin at MIT, maybe the last 10 years. So
yes.
Yes.
So I was a visiting student at the Laboratory for Information and Decision System, working with Professor Morwin, who is an expert in ultra-wide bandwidth communication. Yeah.
Yeah.
At MIT.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well-known researcher for physical layer security. So I know more.
Yeah. Maybe Dr. Manut, can you say a few words? Oh, maybe he's not connected. Shall we start the today's session?
Yes, indeed.
So it's a great honor really to have Glasgow University supporting us. So please start.
Okay, great. So I will try to finish in say half an hour and then leave some time for question and answers as well. But if there is any burning question, please feel free to interrupt me and ask the question. So the title of my talk today is 5G and beyond, and what's the role of testbed and trials to accelerate uptake as well as fine-tuning of any new technology like 5G, or when we say beyond, it would be 6G. I think everyone knows about University of Glasgow, but very briefly to say, just like your university, ours is also very well established in history. So it was established in 1451, and it really draws some pride from very famous names who have association with University of Glasgow, like James Watt, William Rankine, William Thomson, or Lord Kelvin, and John Logie Baird. So all of them, they need no introduction, just Glasgow really gets a lot of inspiration, or researchers working at Glasgow really get lots of inspiration that they have to not just stand on the shoulders of these giants, but they really want to provide a continuity in recent times as well for world-changing research. The 5G team at University of Glasgow, under my lead, is growing very, very fast. And just over last 5 years, we have grown from 5 people to 100 plus, 4.5 years, I would say. And this is a group which is very multidisciplinary in areas of engineering as well as computing science, and draws diverse talent from more than 22 countries. We have a funded grants portfolio of more than 20 million pounds, and we have active international collaborations all across the globe. And I'm sorry, Thailand should be here as well. So finally, the outputs. We are working at producing a steady rate of more than 300 outcomes in terms of papers, patents for last 3 years now. We have made some key contributions and key impact in the area of 5G, nationally as well as internationally. On national stage, we have been participants of the report commissioned by Digital Health and Care Institute in Scotland, which is on application of privacy preservation and trust in contact tracing for COVID pandemic. We were contributors to the 5G strategy, national strategy for Scotland, and First Minister chose our lab to announce the strategy for 5G in Scotland. And we are also founding partner member for Scotland 5G Centre. We are training industrial doctoral students at several different teams. Some of them, they are very closely linked with industry. So we have international studentships for industrial training, as Professor Lanchakon was asking me. So this is something that will continue over next year as well. So if there are exceptionally good students, it's very competitive, but there are scholarships available to compete and win. We also have a joint PhD program with UESTC, a leading university in communication in China, University of Electronic Sciences and Technology in China. Dr. Kamar Abbasi, who's with me on this call, is the program director for this collaboration with China. And then we also have industrial case studentships with Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council. DT is one major partner, but now very recently we have added MathWorks as well as Huawei Technologies in this space. So I would skip this in the interest of time, and I would very briefly introduce some of our major involvements on national stage. So as I said, we are founding members of the Scotland 5G Centre, which is a 7 million plus funded grant from the Scottish government. And we also have some additional specific funding for the urban testbed here at University of Glasgow campus, which is on top of this 7 million. So we are also collaborators on 2 large projects funded by Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sports, led by Cisco, and another partner university in Glasgow, Strathclyde. And these are also 2 significant grants looking at how 5G services can be provided in rural areas as well. And some of the use cases include healthcare use case, which we are looking after in Glasgow. There are other fundings as well, especially worthy of mention are EPSRC program grants, which we are working on designing and devising new 5G healthcare devices and healthcare ecosystems for the future. So all these recent new project involvements are jointly with key policymakers, key actors in healthcare, for example, as well as industrial partners. So here my main presentation starts. What's the role of testbed and trials? So one important thing is when we are doing research, sometimes it's possible that we miss our blind side and we focus too much on only fundamental research. Those are known as lower technology readiness levels. It's very important. It's high risk, but very high gain research. So sometimes you hit a jackpot idea, and that is only possible when you're doing fundamental thinking. You're not just following others, you're trying to think out of the box and coming up with new ideas. So fundamentals are very important. We do fundamental research, but we also look at how to apply this research. So we try very hard to move new ideas from lower technology readiness level to higher technology readiness level. So our contributions in fundamental areas span self-organized networking frameworks, how we design intelligent networks which are guaranteed to converge, stable once they have converged, as well as they are agile in converging from one state to the other state. And this is based on theoretical foundations. We have also done a lot of work on fundamental capacity limits, both capacity in terms of throughput, capacity in terms of information theory, but also capacity in terms of number of users and so on. And then we have also worked on trade-offs with the capacity limits with energy efficiency. So these are all fundamental theoretical work. And a lot of this relies heavily on communication technologies and lower physical layer modeling of communication infrastructure, as well as system level modeling of communication networks. We also work on applied areas of these fundamental innovations. We look at how our energy efficiency algorithms will perform in practice, either through very elaborate system level simulations or even deploying those algorithms on test beds for specific trials. So I will give you an example of a test bed and explain a bit more about how that test bed is set up. It also involves system level optimization because setting up a test bed and configuring its operation is a huge dimensional optimization problem, relies a lot on established human expertise, and sometimes you compromise to just operate on a local optima because you're not able to find the global optima. So we try to use state-of-the-art artificial intelligence, machine learning, transfer learning techniques to somehow find global optimas with this huge dimension optimization problem. And we work on commercialization of specific ideas by demonstrating their technology readiness level on these test beds and trials, and then working with industrial companies to commercialize them as soon as possible. All of this is evidenced by our increasing level of citations by industrial partners as well as industrial research centers as well. So Scotland's economic strategy, and especially its 5G strategy, led to this idea of establishing a very close collaboration in university level research organizations as well as industry-led development organizations. So this collaboration works very closely with Glasgow City Innovation District. Like one of them is Glasgow Riverside Innovation District, which is physically located in University of Glasgow campus, overlapping with University of Glasgow campus, just on the south of University of Glasgow. And this Glasgow Riverside Innovation District provides a great test bed opportunity or trial opportunity to look at some use cases, interesting use cases. As some of them you mentioned, Professor Lanchakon, just now, creative digital media. So for example, how we can enable virtual tourism or virtual time travel using 5G and augmented reality, virtual reality technologies. Healthcare, for example, we have a Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, one of the largest hospitals in UK or Europe, as a multi-site, one physical location hospital. So this is again a great opportunity to trial tele-healthcare or tele-diagnosis type of use cases. Scottish Event Campus, where one of the largest events of more than 10,000 people actually are organized in UK, in Scotland. It's a World Top 10 Conference Center. And again, this provides us an opportunity to, for example, demonstrate telepresence or tele-travel or these kind of innovative, interesting use cases. Last but not least, University of Glasgow campus itself is a mini city. So you can demonstrate use cases of future smart cities in this campus. So three main deliverables for 5G urban testbed, which University of Glasgow is responsible for. There's the 5G rural testbed as well under Scotland 5G Centre, which University of Strathclyde takes the lead. But within urban testbed, we have three main deliverables to demonstrate how self-organizing network will take the humans out of loop as much as possible for optimization, configuration, and running of the network. And also demonstrate that Internet of Things may not require, in some cases, may not require huge amount of bandwidth or high data rates, but Internet of Things is still an essential integral part of 5G ecosystem. The reason for that is many Internet of Things devices actually are either a sensor or an actuator, and sometimes they require a small amount of data, but in some cases, this is mission critical data. So you need ultra reliability, low latency. Some of these are actuators. So they also require very stable network, wireless network control. And this also provides us to do some research on privacy preservation, security, and other important aspects on Internet of Things area. And finally, we want to demonstrate how 5G as a technology will converge with other alternative technologies of connectivity, including wired and wireless connectivities, which are used for local area networking. Like Wi-Fi is, for example, one thing, Wi-Fi 6. So in order to demonstrate all this, we have deployed a 3GPP compliant non-standalone network at the moment, which will be converted into standalone very soon within 2021. It's a telco grade core radio network. You can say it's a telco grade 5G private network operating on a test and trial license for demonstrating interesting use cases. It has a SON controller, a pop-up network facility. Pop-up network is a network that can be commissioned or decommissioned at a very short notice, and all network equipment is on the wheels very mobile. You can deploy it, you can take it away with you after your need has finished. Mobile edge computing platform and IoT platform. IoT platform is actually even nationwide coverage platform. And then finally, Wi-Fi or 5G controller in order to maintain or manage the convergence between 5G and Wi-Fi 6 or other Wi-Fi technologies. The network is deployed both outdoor and indoor on the campus. So on the diagram here, you see a digital twin of our campus, and you can actually see that there is this section which I'm highlighting with my arrow at the moment. This is the old or the existing footprint of the campus, and then you see a lot of popping up buildings here, and some of these are already now popped up. At least 3 of these buildings are now in physical shape. They are being constructed despite pandemic. Construction is going on at full speed. This is our new campus, and we were very lucky to have opportunity to expand our centuries old campus. Just adjacent to that, there was a site which opened up, luckily, for university to grab and then expand its footprint. So this also provides us great opportunity to test and trial built environment use case, where we have a great mix of modern, state-of-the-art new buildings, as well as traditional, historically listed, preserved old buildings as well. So how do we manage deployment of a network, maintenance of a network, as well as how do we manage or use IT technology to improve the maintenance and efficiency of operation of these old and new buildings as a mix. Some other use cases we are looking at are mobile health and metropolitan events. For example, I just mentioned about the pop-up networks. So the coverage of the network, this is evolving along the time, and we have the ability to reconfigure it as well for specific events. Originally, it was focusing more on old campus and traditional footprint, but more recently, we have moved some of the antennas location in order to cover the new campus. These are some old buildings which will go away and new buildings will pop up here. So we have, as I said, nationwide coverage for IoT testbed as well, and we are part of that LoRaWAN IoT infrastructure. The testbed is laid out with a central baseband unit, a switch, a mobile cloud network, self-organized networking controller, and mobile edge computing platform in a centralized control room. And then there are several indoor remote radio heads, which are usually connected with a hub to provide multiplexing. And then you have baseband units. Multiple baseband units cover several buildings. So for example, these are individual buildings, library, Queen Margaret Union building, as well as James McQueen Smith, our new learning and teaching hub, and James Watt South building. So different indoor as well as outdoor buildings. For example, these 2 remote radio heads are, 3 remote radio heads are outdoor antennas or outdoor coverage units. So as you can see, some of these are, this is the advantage of deploying a testbed on a campus, that you own the estate, and sometimes you are capable of managing the physical installation of these base stations more conveniently. But that is what we thought as well, but there are still challenges. So in many cases, you have to still go to city council and get planning permissions and many of other things sorted out before you can install any physical infrastructure as a testbed. We have several indoor units as well, as you can see inside the Union building. This is a very large learning and teaching hub, and you can see some of our base stations, indoor base stations mounted on these buildings. So our initial test has demonstrated nearly 1 gigabit per second download speed, which is excellent. Moderate upload speeds as well. But as you can see, that mobile phones will show a private 5G network. We have labeled it as Glasgow 5G, G5G as a network. And the initial performance has been demonstrated to achieve some of the 5G promise targets. As you can see, latency is also coming in a few tens of milliseconds with less than 10 millisecond, less than even 5 millisecond jitter, which is excellent for some demonstrations of ultra low latency communication infrastructure as well. So there is a control room, as I mentioned. This control room hosts the mobile edge computing infrastructure, as well as self-organized networking controller, as well as one hub and baseband unit. Some use cases. I have previously presented to Professor Lanchakon's colleagues some of these use cases, so my apologies if there are some repetition here as well, but I will quickly go through these use cases. You will see each of these rows when I will go through the details of these use cases. It describes the use case, it describes the collaborators we are working on. It also describes specific underlying technologies that mobile communication or wireless communication researchers and engineers have developed over the last 1 decade in order to enable these use cases. For example, ultra reliable, low latency communication algorithms and mechanisms, or mobile edge computing algorithms and mechanisms, network function virtualization, network slicing, software defined networking, self-organized networking, all of them, they play an important role to make these use cases happen. We work with industry to demonstrate how we can fine-tune the network in order to support such use cases simultaneously or on their own. There are some futuristic use cases as well. For example, we want to enable privacy-preserved monitoring of activity of any living or healthy or recovering human in healthcare environment or in their home environment without the need to add additional hardware or infrastructure. We don't want to add cameras. We don't want to add any radars or any other technologies. What we want to do is we want to use existing Wi-Fi, 5G or other frequencies or signals to monitor their activity by monitoring the changes in channel quality. And this also requires to really control the wireless environment. And in order to control the wireless environment, we sometimes use smart walls as well. So the objective is that people should not have a need to wear wearable devices. This use case requires massive machine type connectivity because many devices will need connectivity to the network simultaneously, and enhanced mobile broadband because some of these wireless signals that we are dealing with are more or less like an imaging video signal coming at a very high rate of several frames in a second. And we want to use this for closed loop actuation. So we want to take actions. For example, if someone is falling down, can we trigger some of their muscles in the leg in order to save them from that fall? Or if an airbag can be triggered for them, because usually fall happens on doorsteps or specific locations. So some airbags can be fitted in order to avoid those falls. Another use case, and this is very much overlapping with Professor Lanchakon, some of your new project grants as well. So creating digital twins enables us to optimize operation as well as physical infrastructure of very critical workspaces. For example, we have James Watt Nanofabrication Center, one of the world-leading nanofabrication centers. You cannot close it down for several months just to fine-tune some of the operational steps. If you have a digital twin for that, and if you have augmented reality, virtual reality technologies, you can optimize it offline, and then you can implement with confidence some of the changes that you have already tried on a digital twin. Similarly, you can provide access to students, even undergraduate students or remote students in other international campuses, for them to virtually visit and experience the James Watt Nanofabrication Center. Same thing can happen to your digital factory that you are working on, as well as your remote historical heritage site that you mentioned. So we are very happy to work with you. Another specific use case is augmented reality for wayfinding. So for example, you can use this augmented reality visiting that specific site in order to provide them information when they are looking at specific areas with augmented reality. The information pops up. And that information can be tailored to a specific user's interest. If it's a child, it's a male, female visitor. So you can recognize the type of the visit. It's a high visitor or international visitor. You can recognize the context and then you can update that information. So it's much better than having fixed physical information boards or tags. We have demonstrated some of this augmented reality, virtual reality related technologies to the First Minister of Scotland while she was able to join a session from Edinburgh And my colleague, for example, you can see Dr. Kamar Abbasi here in this picture. He could be given a demonstration. He could give her a demonstration of how James Watt Nanofabrication Center specific protocols work. We are working on healthcare technologies a lot. So collection of data, sensory imaging, as I showed you, imaging without the need for wearables, but as well as with the help of wearables as well, or non-invasive health monitoring devices. You collect the data, you ensure the privacy of this data, you ensure the security and management of this data. So we work with ethical approval committees and teams, as well as our clinician partners, as well as healthcare partners, Digital Health and Care Institute, for example, and other partners as well. In order to collect this data, we have some care homes, which are our partners, where we actually physically collect real data. And then we process this data using AI and machine learning techniques to extract events or triggers out of this data. And those events and triggers are then fed back to care teams, as well as individual humans or carers, so that an early intervention can be made to improve the chances of full and quick recovery of any emerging healthcare scenarios. We are working closely with some industrial colleagues and partners in order to develop technologies for space monitoring, for example. Space monitoring has become even more important with the advent of this new pandemic challenge, because people have been using user counting or individual counting techniques, for example, to monitor how many people are in a building. So they just put a counter at the entrance door of a building, and then they know how many people are entering and how many people are leaving. This can give them an estimate how many people are inside the building. But this only tells you how many people in a large area. Our technology can actually provide a heat map of which spaces of that building are being occupied, used more frequently over the time. So it gives you a space as well as time resolution, which can then you use in order to optimize the exploitation of the space in a building. You can also use this information in order to ensure that protocols are being followed for social distancing, for example, for pandemic monitoring and management, and things like that. And the technology that we have developed is very cheap, very high, but very high resolution and high accuracy. We have actually moved the onus or cost from having too many individual sensors to having very few high capability readers and very cheap sensing technologies to be deployed all over the space in order to get this fine resolution of space utilization. As you can understand that monitoring people in a given space, either it's work environment or home, can sometimes be very daunting for these people because they feel their privacy is being invaded. So that's why we are working on privacy preservation mechanisms as well, so that people's data about which spaces they have visited, where they have traveled, where they have been, it stays with them as their own data. No one has access to it, not even government authorities have access to it, unless and until there is a very good justified reason where with the consent of either a third party or the person itself, some limited access to the data can be provided to any party of interest. So this is all very well monitored and well structured system, which gives people confidence that their data is safe with them. You can understand that this privacy preservation mechanism would be very useful for people who are promoting healthcare related data acquisition as well. The privacy preservation mechanism on its own relies on distributed ledger technologies, for example, blockchain technology, as well as we have developed some specific algorithms to make it work very well over wireless links. Of course, blockchain is very well established technology and wired network, but there are several challenges how it operates on wireless link on devices which have limited processing capability as well as very limited battery power. So you know, blockchain as a technology has given tremors in big countries as well by putting load on their grids. So you can understand how energy consuming this technology can be. But to run it on wireless nodes is a challenge, and we have developed some solutions for that. We have also demonstrated how a pop-up network or a 5G network or 4G network deployed on drones and other movable platforms can create a network in a commission a network in a very, very short amount of time, but not just commission a network, but provide a multi-service network with slices, which have guaranteed service, for example, low latency, high reliability, for emergency response teams, for example, ambulances, police, fire brigade, but as well as for other people who have just to send text messages as an SOS text message that we want to be rescued. So that has been demonstrated jointly with some collaborators in Malaysia. Another good area of collaboration that we can foresee with your team in Thailand. Okay, tele-robotic control. You mentioned your digital factory. This is not a robotic arm on its feet. It's just a robotic arm. But of course, we have some other social robots as well, who are humanoid robots. They can move as well, physically move as well. So what we have demonstrated is how to provide control over a wireless link. How do you ensure reliable control, convergence of the control, stability of the control system, while the feed-forward and feedback links are unreliable over a very long public network as well. What kind of techniques can be used? So one simple technique is predictive packet control, where you use AI and machine learning technique to predict and preempt any lost or undelivered packets. Clinics on the wheels is another very interesting use case, especially for rural coverage and providing the 5G related or healthcare related benefits to all people, not just in urban city centers, but in rural areas as well. So a great technology to overcome not just digital divide, but also healthcare divide between urban and rural centers. The main idea is to equip a van with basic clinical facilities and to ensure that these vans can visit different places in rural areas and provide people health and care facilities in those regions as well. Okay, one other interesting emerging use case is holographic telepresence. So we are working with our partners in China, for example, to teleport in a holographic manner our principal, for example, for a graduation ceremony. So this can provide you ability to interact with a 3D hologram or to make holographic calls in order to improve the experience of users in terms of interactivity and immersiveness of the events that they attend. So this is one of the picture which shows when Scotland's 5G, when Scotland's first minister visited our lab to announce her Scotland 5G policy. And this shows other events of interest that were reported in international media about related to achievements of our research group. And we are actively involved in disseminating information, either it is through the events or through edited as well as authored book titles. So all of these books, very proud to say, originate from our team. And that's all from my side. I would stop here. Success is a group achievement, and I sincerely appreciate all the contributions from different colleagues, students, and other external supporters over the time. So the floor is open for any questions you may have. Over to you, Professor Lanchakon, for any questions.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I suppose our lecture is complete.
Indeed, yes. So the floor is open for any questions. If anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself and directly ask a question as well.
Okay.
It seems I have done a good job. No questions. Or it could be the other way around as well.
Allow me to introduce a key member of our 5G team, from the King Mongkut Institute of Technology. Dr. Witwat, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Nice to meet you.
Yes. Can you tell us about your work?
Yes, my work is we work on the 5G, maybe in the antenna or maybe private network. So we try to make our own network in university, and then we can try to design antenna, and we try to do something about the SDR, software-defined radio, to make the coding encoding of the 5G, so that we can simulate the whole ring of the 5G system.
That's excellent. So I must mention I did not demonstrate or show the software-defined radio-based testbed as well. So we do have a lab-based testbed where we can we can actually fine-tune different algorithms that we develop before it goes to commercial-grade outdoor testbed.
Yes, please. Yeah, that's
work
good.
in this area as well. So software-defined radio-based testbed. So very interested in any collaboration with your team in order to do.
Yes,
it's an open source community as anyway. A lot of people are working on it, and it's a community-driven innovation. So it will be great to collaborate on it.
Yeah, and now I'm joining with the UTM, University of Malaysia. We are working together on the 5G system, maybe on the designing or mmWave, in case that if you want to join.
Okay, there is a question from Dr. Kampon, I believe.
Oh yes, so 5G has 3 frequency bands. What are the radio frequencies of the remote radio heads in the testbed on campus? So currently we are not operating in millimeter wave band. So currently our testbed is Nokia's N7 radios, and the frequency band, I'm not sure if we can...
Sorry?
Yes, Yusuf, go ahead.
Yeah, so we operate on the N78 band under the Research and Innovation license.
Yeah, so this is important as well. So there is a license auction. So the Opcom would assign those specific frequency bands to different operators, mobile network operators. We currently operate on a test and trial license. We are partly sharing a specific portion of the frequency spectrum with a current mobile network operator who owns that spectrum with their permission, because they haven't deployed their own 5G network in this close vicinity of the university. We are using their licensed spectrum, part of that licensed spectrum. But current radios are not in millimeter wave band, they are in N78.
Okay, that's crystal clear. Thank you very much.
Also, well, waiting for more questions. Dr. Anu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Robito Anur. I'm from University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Malaysia. Sorry, I just joined because yeah, I got problem with my system here, so that's why actually I cannot get what is actually you know already given by the
Yes.
presenter today.
Yeah, but the good news is our department for this webinar, it is live in the YouTube, and we can later can view the talk again.
Yes. Okay. But actually, I also trying to work on some in 5G system also. I'm interested on the device-to-device communication. Now I'm trying to work on that particular part.
Yeah, so Robito Anur,
Yes.
we recently worked on device-to-device communication, it's specifically from the point of view of disaster management. So in any disaster, if the network infrastructure is gone, how we can create it's still a rudimentary network for people to be able to send their SOS messages. So we demonstrated how device-to-device connectivity can still provide a basic level of communication to help people who are stuck in any disaster.
Okay, so that project is done. I mean, is completed already.
Yes, this project has recently been concluded and a demonstration was made. But we are interested. Of course, research does not stop there. You can continue to optimize the efficiency with which you can deploy that network, the latencies in that network, how routing can be optimized. There are ongoing research activities that we are happy to collaborate with your team if you are interested.
Okay, are you working with the network coding with device to device?
Not in that project specifically, but I have previously worked on network coding during my own PhD as well. So
okay.
I'm aware of that, and if there are any interesting areas to discuss that.
All right.
Yeah. We also
you
have.
can understand my PhD was a long time ago, so at that time network coding was not very well established idea. So
okay, all right, that's it. Yeah, we may proceed to maybe different level of network coding because now network coding has so many types, so that we may consider also.
I have worked on fountain codes, Luby transform codes, and some variants that I tried to invent myself during my PhD. So
all right.
Yeah. We also have Dr. Paramin. Are you there? No, probably he's not. Okay. Is there any other questions? Actually, we have lots of questions that probably afraid to ask. You just type in the chat.
Yeah. So my colleague, Dr. Kamar Abbasi, has just shared one YouTube video. I haven't seen myself, but I think it might be something worth seeing for the rest of people.
No, that is the link for this talk. Sorry, that is the link for this talk. Because someone said that she missed it, so.
Right. Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamar.
Thank you. There is a question from Abdul Jabbar.
Yeah. So battery performance of you mean 5G devices, I guess, right? Because usually batteries are on the device end. So indeed, this is still an interesting ongoing area of how you optimize energy efficiency, both on network side as well as the device side, right? So currently we are using specific commercial grade 5G devices, for example, provided by the companies who are making those devices for end user. Of course, we have one test device as well. So for that, you can measure how much energy is being consumed in different operations. So every type of communication will consume different level of energy. So if you're familiar with the concept of 5G network slicing, so even allocation of different slices and then communicating over that slice will change the level at which your device will start to consume energy. So in terms of average battery life, of course, 5G as a technology has still been designed keeping in mind that user devices should have as long battery life as possible so that people don't have to charge them, at least during the day. So usually an average 5G device user should still have, say, 10 to 12 hours of battery life over the day period.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, 5G is now commercially available as well. So people have 5G mobile phones as well as in our city, both Vodafone and EE, which is an operator from British Telecom, are providing 5G services. So people are using 5G phones. But I would say many people are not really using 5G type of services on those phones. Still, they are using the same type of services as 4G. So we as research groups, as well as innovators, as well as people who are working closely with industry, we have to find those killer applications in next 5 to 10 years, which will be really 5G driven, rather than just doing the same 4G stuff on 5G connections.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How would your private network connect to the public 5G network? Is it possible to connect between them?
Indeed, because at the core of the network is connected to the internet. So private 5G network, you can keep it disconnected from the external internet, or you can connect it to the rest of the network by just connecting your core to the internet, right? So and core can also be connected to an exchange, international exchange as well, to directly be part of any worldwide network. So you can operate a 5G network as a closed localized network, just like you can do with Wi-Fi, right? You can, if you disconnect your Wi-Fi's DSL connectivity from the back, you can still create a local home network, but you will not have any access to internet. You can share files between your own computers, but no one can access your network, and you cannot access anything outside. But if you connect at the core, using in this example of Wi-Fi, you just connect a DSL at the back of your Wi-Fi router, and then you get connected to the rest of the world. Same
So
thing
I suppose you assign the mobile number within your local network by yourself.
Indeed. So there is a programmable
SIM.
SIM. Yes, so G5G network, there is a programmable SIM that either you insert a new SIM or you can reprogram the existing SIM for multi-operator functionality. So then that SIM will see two operators. Just like I'm sure in Thailand as well, in China, the dual SIM phones are very popular. So people have more than one SIM in their mobile handset, and the phone can connect to multiple networks. And you can even select when you're making a call, which network you want to use in order to make that call. So the local G5G network assigns local user IDs and local subscriber identification modules.
It is now near the end of the invited talk. Perhaps I should take this opportunity to thank Professor Imran or Professor Muhammad Imran once again, and your team, your big team, and many diverse people. Together today, I think we have more than 5 or 6 countries who joined this webinar. So really thank you again, and we hope we can really set up a collaboration in terms of exchanges. We also welcome staff of your member staff to visit us.
Indeed.
And we
as
also,
soon as pandemic is over, we will really want to take that offer. I would love to.
And we are happy to support. Give you support, taking best care of your team. And Dr. Vitawat is a very important person in our side, and because he can connect to a few countries in Asia. So if you do have a real, international funding, we will be very much excited to join you.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think there are other universities that very active in 5G, like what is it, Ajahn Vitawat?
UTM. We do have something like funding we call like matching funding between university.
Yeah.
So UTM, the project that I just showed you about disaster recovery. So we work with the University of Technology in Malay.
Oh, I see. You already have a great connection. Yes.
Professor Kaharuddin and Kamarul, Professor Kamarul and Professor Kaharuddin are the collaborators in UTM.
Yeah. So, okay, then I think any comment on LoRaWAN? Okay, maybe final question. LoRa versus 5G for IoT service.
So 5G will use narrowband IoT, and LoRaWAN already have deployment. So in terms of technology, both, just like any other technology, both have pros and cons, right? So, but there is no clear winner. So that's why we haven't put our bet on either of these two technologies. So we are working on both. Our own testbed has a LoRaWAN network. So we use LoRaWAN for a lot of IoT use case demonstrations. Our narrowband IoT testbed will be functional very soon. So this will give us a great opportunity. This is a very good question because it highlights what's the benefit of trials and test beds. So what we can really do is now trial same use case on 2 different technologies and establish which one performs better in that specific scenario. Right, so that's one of the objectives. So very good question, very related to the topic today, why test beds are needed in order to do these kind of trials.
Kun Pom Papat, do we have, are you there, Kun Pom Papat? Probably she's not in. I was hoping to have a final photo session, but probably maybe next time.
No, it's fine if everyone can enable their videos.
Okay.
If they can, if they are in a position to do that, then Professor Lanchakon can take a screen grab.
คุณนกอยู่ไหมครับคุณนกเราถ่ายรูปยังไงเนี่ยพฤกษ์รู้ไหมต้องถ่ายยังไงอ่ะ
เจอหน้าจอครับเดี๋ยว
อะไรนะ
ถ่ายยังไงใช่ไหมครับ
ใช้กล้องเหรอใช้ this เหรอ
capture we can capture with the capture screen
okay ready
now I see everyone that's okay everyone can open camera
are we ready
yes
and also capture right alternate print screen right
yes print screen
smile 1 2 3 is it working I hope okay more people coming so one more time I think the traditional camera are good too okay thank you again and
thank you very much
hope we have a successful friendship and collaboration thank you
looking forward to it. Thank you take care for now bye
thank you
bye bye
bye bye
Bye bye.